Chapter 24, in which Princess Kitty respects the dead. At the dawn of Monday, that's when the remaining crew of the Maybelle confirmed their surroundings. Around the ship, there was flotsam and dead sailors in life jackets floating in the water, which is the equivalent of dead fish floating in banks. It took about an hour to recover the bodies and transport them to the forecastle in canvas bags, including the bodies that were still on the ship, like Otis, Logan Cunningham, and the other sailors who were drowned and injured inside the ship, including the chief engineer. To Fred, the effect of the stormfish attack last night still lingered in him. As a result, he was stricken with guilt, regret, and grief, probably because of the sudden death of elderly helmsman Otis McGinty, dead from hemorrhaging in the brain. Of course, Princess Kitty had sympathy for the captain, because of one mistake in capturing an infant stormfish and refusing to release it back into the sea, hoping to get a profit at Moimo. The expedition has been cut short by the recent event that has occurred. The dawn brought forth a bright sun and a blue sky without any cloud in sight. Now what's left of the crew all depend on Princess Kitty of KAWAII Wonderland, formerly Kitty Felinis, to help them survive and get back home to Moimo. Now that they know what she looked like, there may be a lot of getting used to her appearance. Princess Kitty happened to stumble into the forecastle, where the dead are stored on both starboard and port sides of the ship.
17 bodies in canvas bags,
she thought.
17 bodies I didn't even know during this trip.
However, out of 17, the one victim she did show remorse is the body of Otis McGinty. Opening the bag up, she looked down at only his pale face. Feeling his body, she did feel something hard bulging inside his coat pocket. He pulls out his daguerreotype. She did remember to find the picture of his wife and teenage daughter. She did remember that Otis will take her to see them when they get back to the harbor. However, she knew that she'll never get the chance. Chances are, she didn't know where his family lived. Looking around at the bodies, she announced them as if they were an ensemble.
I'm Princess Kitty of KAWAII Wonderland. To you, I was once Kitty Felinis, a false name which I have used since the start of this expedition. Those who now survive, I have told them the truth. For the rest of you, especially the old sailor who has a wife and daughter, even though you will never have the chance to know who and what I really am, I will pay my respect for the honored dead. This is my condolence to you, and may you all find peace.
She got down on her knees. Closing her eyes, she recites a eulogy.
The struggle is over. The storm cloud at last has emptied itself, and the fury is past. The ship is a ruin. The mariners wait their summons to enter eternity's gate. The remnant of canvas that flaps in the wind, their signal of woe they may soon leave behind, to give its last flutter above the wild surge, as all it betokens the deep shall emerge. They see rising round them a chill, restless grave, while death loudly calls them from out the hoarse wave. Come to me, come! Ye have nowhere to flee, but down in the waters for quiet with me. My thin winding arms, ever naked and cold, have nothing to warm them but what they enfold. My being unlawful I have to sustain, by feeding on life that from others I drain. The sweet buds of childhood, youth's beautiful bloom, and age's ripe clusters I pluck and consume. I traverse the world by the light that I steal, alone from the eyes that in darkness I seal. In ocean's black chambers I welcome the forms that rush to my kingdom through shipwreck and storms. The babe never prattles or climbs on the knee of him who is low in the cold deep sea. The eyes of his widow grow sunken and dim, with looking and waking and weeping for him. The parent's fond heart slowly bleeds for the son, till I, from my throne, a new trophy have won. Come, and the mourners away on the shore shall never behold you or hear of you more. Hush, hush, thou pale monarch, a voice from above. It chides thee, its tones are of mercy and love. Away, King of Terrors, in silence retire. Though high is thy throne, there is one that is higher. The sinking have looked from the billows that swell around them to him who the surges can quell, and he who before has the tempest allayed, and said to the mariner, "Be not afraid," is now walking over the waters to tread upon the white spray that is pluming thy head. A sail, ho, a sail, in the moment of need, on yonder mad breakers she's riding with speed. A rescue, it comes in the light little boat that's lowered and manned o'er the perils to float, while life for the perishing, hope for despair, and joy and reward for affection are there, with rocking and tossing as onward she steers, and shooting and plunging the wreck as she nears. One moment, and then the last wave will be crossed, yet all is too late if that unit be lost. The helper and helpless, while panting to meet, have sent forth their voices each other to greet. And when did those voices go out on the air, and import so great such an errand to bear? Emotions too mighty for sound to convey, or long for the spirit to feel in the clay, a pulse never known in their bosoms before, is each proving now at the dash of an oar. And sweet to their hearts will the memory be of these clasping hands on the wild deep sea.
She opened her eyes and felt a sense of sweet relief. Once she gets up to her feet, her ears suddenly twitch. The highest knowledge of knowing such creatures is understanding the immediate consequences. The sudden voice shocked her as she looks around, only to find no one here. Hearing it talk about creatures, it occurs in her mind that it was the voice of the author of the book she had read, Furukawa Ryutaro. "Whoever is in charge got himself into quite a fix around here," the voice said. "He should have known the consequences of capturing one infant fish and decides not to set it free." The voice seemed to come from her right, but she knew she can find no one.
"I know,"
she said.
"The captain, he paid for it with half of his men gone."
"He should have listened to you," the voice said, and it came now from her left, from behind her.
"Why do you keep moving around?" she demanded. "You know I can't see you or find you anywhere here."
"He did make mistakes in life, did he?" the voice said. "Everybody does. Even the littlest of mistakes can make someone lose everything, even his own life for such recklessness." She then walked towards the body of Otis McGinty. "The Arashi no Sakana has proven himself to be vengeful against mankind's arrogance," the voice went on. "They are vindicatory when it comes to protecting their very young from all the fishermen in these 7 seas. They don't have to threaten them with death. They will come to them and never stop until they take back what is theirs."
"Dear God," she moaned. "Should I be blameful for knowing too much about the stormfish? Then again, should I even be blameful or otherwise for being in this expedition when I'm supposed to begin my expedition on land?"
"You've already seen one," the voice said. "You will see the others soon enough, even those you never heard of on this planet before."
"Other creatures I never heard of? Apart from the wolf, the fish, and the bird?" she asked. "What? What other creatures do I wish to know, apart from those 3?
"Not every yokai is an animal," the voice said.
"Yokai?" she asked. "Is that what those 3 were called in the book I've read?"
"Apart from the creatures that often have animal features, some of them appear humanoid in appearance," the voice said. "Some yokai resemble inanimate objects, while others have no discernible shape. They are typically described as having spiritual or supernatural abilities, with shape-shifting being the most common trait associated with them.
Are you now telling me that yokai could be anything, ranging from a human or an animal?
She asked. The yokai are not literally demons in the Western sense of the word, but are instead spirits and entities whose behavior can range from malevolent or mischievous to friendly, fortuitous, or helpful to humans, the voice said.
Well, the stormfish, I was thinking, is neither friendly nor fortuitous nor helpful, she said. They kill.
They kill half when their infant was captured, the voice said. Those who survive must find a solution to get back to where they're from, or perish like the rest. Seeing that you are on board this ship, those who survived already found one. You.
I know, she said. I asked for nothing on board but their dependence on me. I've let them think anything they wish, as long as they believe in me.
You are not supposed to be here. Do you really have the captain's consent to be here?
I only came here, even without consent, to pay respect for the honored dead. I know that after what the captain and the others have been through, I know that it was the right thing. Do you understand that? They have families back.
About their families and loved ones. Well, they are sure to become widows, and the children without a father. They would all be devastated, would they?
Shut up,
she spat.
And talk to me no more.
Even though some of the yokai is deemed friendly, fortuitous, and helpful, mankind has feared the yokai because they were different and never seen one before, the voice said. An act which the yokai shall not tolerate, and enact very immediate penalties.
Please,
she snapped.
Stop!
Stop what? The voice said, now suddenly hardened. Stop what? You are the one who read my book at the library and have the knowledge. I will not be silent, and neither will they. This is only the beginning.
What do you mean, they?
She demanded.
The beginning of what?
But she didn't hear the voice no more. She turned to see Fred at the entrance. You're not supposed to be here, Kitty, he said. Get away from the bodies. And what do you got in your hand? Looking down, she can see that she still holds the daguerreotype. When she holds it in front of him, he said, Give it to me, and I'll hold on to it for him. She narrowed her eyes as she walked towards him and hands him the daguerreotype. In a quiet fury, she said,
I did remember that he was taking me to see them. I have no idea where they live. I'm just new here in this world.
He lowers his head and placed the daguerreotype inside his coat pocket. I get it, Kitty, he moaned. 17 people are dead because I didn't release that fish.
During the storm, I did toss the infant back into the sea like you were told to do in the first place, she said. However, just because they got their infant back doesn't mean they can leave you and the crew alone after that. In order for the fish to get even, half of your crew has to die.
Fred rushed inside and banged his fist against the pole in frustration. It really isn't fair, Kitty! He screamed. I take one fish. The group takes one of my men. That's the way to get even. Just what the Bible said about these things. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for a hand, foot for a foot. That's the way! She shook her head.
To the stormfish, it's not. Not every sailor survives the wrath of the sea.
Some merciful princess you turn out to be, he stated.
If I didn't join your expedition and you happened to catch a stormfish as small as 4 meters, I wouldn't be able to save you. Sure, only half of you will survive, but you wouldn't last long out there. Either way, you will be lost.
He swallowed hard, having that thought into his head. Effective immediately. I'm relieving myself as captain of the Maybell. I'm placing you in charge of everything to make sure we get back to Moimo. She raised an eyebrow.
You know, all throughout the Odyssey, I find you tough. I find you tenacious. So why are you suddenly scared? What are you afraid of?
Oh, the thought of so much mystery in this world, I suppose, he said. Not that I mind being shipwrecked during my career at sea. I was always unaware how unpredictable life can be.
Then you have a reason to be concerned, because you don't know how things are going to end in the beginning, or you never make the journeys that you were meant to face in this life, especially when creatures are about to become corporeal to those who don't believe in anything unusual. Pretty soon, they'll be common in everyday life. A brief lesson from me.
We still have a long way back to Moimo. I hope I never want to see anything like those stormfish again. She crossed her arms.
You can't promise that. It will be inevitable. All you have to do is to pray it won't happen again. Now that you've made me captain, you have my permission to grieve and to think about what you've done. It is my intention that your men will do as I say if they want to stay alive.
And if they don't? Because you're not entirely human? He asked. Her face turned red, and her voice hardened suddenly.
And to think you call me merciful.
Then she left without a glance towards him. As soon as he heard her slam the door shut, he fell to his knees in front of Otis McGinty's body and wept.